Tonight is the 11th of August 2011, and this is the 26th night. We are speaking on the Digha Nikaya Suttas. Last night we started on Sutta number 33, Sangiti Sutta, and we did not complete it, so we'll complete the second half tonight. And now we come to paragraph 2.1. There are sets of 5 things perfectly proclaimed, the 5 aggregates: body, feeling, perception, volition, consciousness. 5 aggregates of grasping, as before, one. And then 5 strands of sense desire, pancha kama guna, a sight seen by the eye, a sound heard by the ear, a smell smelt by the nose, a flavor tasted by the tongue, a tangible object felt by the body as being desirable, attractive, nice, charming, associated with lust and arousing passion. Number 4, 5 destinies, gatio, hell, animal realm of hungry ghosts, or actually ghosts only, humankind, deva world. Number 5 kinds of begrudging. You can also call it avarice, meaning extreme greed. As to dwelling place, families, gains, beauty, and Dhamma. The 5 hindrances. Number 6, sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt. The 5 lower fetters. Number 7, first, identity view, doubt, attachment to rules and rituals. Number 8, 5 higher fetters, craving for the world of form, that means to be reborn there, craving for the formless world, conceit, restlessness, and ignorance. These 5 higher fetters only the Arahant has destroyed. The Anagamin, the third fruition, he has destroyed the 5 lower fetters. Number 9, 5 rules of training: refraining from taking life, refraining from taking what is not given, refraining from sexual misconduct, refraining from lying, refraining from strong drink and sloth-producing drugs, alcohol. Number 10, 5 impossible things. An Arahant is incapable of deliberately taking the life of a living being, incapable of taking what is not given so as to constitute theft, incapable of engaging in sexual intercourse, incapable of telling a deliberate lie, incapable of storing up goods for sensual indulgence as he did formerly in the household life. Number 11, 5 kinds of loss: loss of relatives, wealth, health, morality, and right view. No beings fall into an evil state, a hell state, after death because of loss of relatives, wealth, or health. But beings fall into woeful planes by loss of morality and right view. Number 12, 5 kinds of gain: gain of relatives, wealth, health, morality, and right view. No beings arise in a happy, heavenly state after death because of the gain of relatives, wealth, or health, but beings are reborn into such states because of gains in morality and right view. 13, 5 dangers to the immoral through lapsing from morality, as in Sutta number 16, verse 1.23. That means 5 disadvantages of not keeping the precepts. And then 14, 5 benefits to the moral through preserving morality. Things like you have a good reputation, you don't lose your wealth, you dare to face a crowd of people, reborn in a good place. And I think maybe at the moment of dying, you are not afraid. Number 15, 5 points to be borne in mind by a monk wishing to rebuke another. 1, I will speak at the proper time, not at the wrong time. 2, I will state the truth, not what is false. 3, I will speak gently, not roughly. 4, I will speak for his good, not for his harm. Number 5, I will speak with love in my heart, not with enmity. Okay, 16, 5 factors of endeavor. Here among A, has faith, trusting in the enlightenment of the Tathagata. B, he is in good health, suffers little distress or sickness, having a good digestion that is neither too cool nor too hot, but of a middling temperature suitable for exertion. C, is not fraudulent or deceitful, showing himself as he really is to his teacher or to the wise among his companions in the holy life. D, keeps his energy constantly stirred up for abandoning unwholesome states and arousing wholesome states, and is steadfast, firm in advancing and persisting in wholesome states. E, is a man of wisdom, endowed with wisdom concerning rise and cessation, with the Aryan penetration that leads to the complete destruction of suffering. That means for a person to strive on the holy path, he should have these 5 factors. 1 is faith in the Buddha. 2, he has a good health. 3, he's a straightforward person, shows himself as he really is to his teacher. Then 4th, he is strong, has a strong energetic effort. And then the 5th, he has wisdom. Can see the impermanence of all things, that they rise and pass away. The 5 pure abodes, Sudavasa, Aviha, Atapa, Sudasa, Sudasi, and Akanita. These are the 5 levels of heaven that the Anagamin, the third fruition, Arya is reborn into. Only Anagamins are reborn there. Number 18, 5 kinds of non-returner. The less than half, this Anagamin, less than half-timer, more than half-timer, the gainer without exertion, the gainer with exertion. He who goes upstream to the highest. These are the different types of Anagamin. They are reborn into the 5 levels of heaven. Something like, I don't quite remember, but something like there's one that is reborn at the lowest, the Aviha, and there he enters Nibbana. Then the second one, he is born into the Aviha. Then after that, reborn into the Atapa, and then enters Nibbana. Then the third one, he goes to 3 heavens, up to Sudasa, then enters Nibbana. The 4th one, up to Sudasi, the 4th heaven, and then enters Nibbana. The last one, he has to go through all the 5 heavens before he enters Nibbana. Number 19, 5 mental blockages. Here a monk has doubts and hesitations about the teacher. B, he has doubts about the Dhamma. C, he has doubts about the Sangha. D, he has doubts about the training. And E, he is angry and displeased with his fellows in the holy life. He feels depressed and negative towards them. Thus his mind is not inclined towards ardor, devotion, persistence, and effort. 25 mental bondages. Here a monk has not got rid of the passion, desire, love and thirst, fever, craving. A, for sense desires or sensual desires. B, craving for the body. C, craving for physical objects. D, having eaten as much as his belly will hold, he abandons himself to the pleasure of lying down, of contact, of sloth, that means sleeping. Or E, he practices the holy life for the sake of becoming a member of some body of devas, thinking by means of these rites or this discipline this austerity or this holy life, I shall become one of the devas, great or small. Thus his mind is not inclined towards ardor, devotion, persistence and effort. These are the stumbling blocks. 21, 5 faculties, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. 22, 5 more faculties, pleasant bodily feeling, pain, gladness, sadness and indifference. 23, 5 more faculties, faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. 24, 5 elements making for deliverance. Here a monk considers sense desires. His mind does not leap forward and take satisfaction in them, fix on them or make free with them. But when he considers renunciation, it does leap forward, take satisfaction in it, fix on it and make free with it. And he gets his thought well set, well developed, well raised up, well freed and disconnected from sense desires. And thus he is freed from the asavas, the vexations and fevers that arise from sensual desires, and he does not feel that sensual feeling. This is called the deliverance from sense desires. And the same applies to ill will, cruelty, forms and identity. So this person, when he thinks of sensual desire or anger or cruelty or forms or bodies or identity, he does not feel pleasure for them, but his mind is directed towards liberation. 25, 5 bases of deliverance. Here the teacher or respected fellow disciple teaches among Dhamma, and as he receives the teaching, he gains a grasp of both the spirit and letter of the teaching. At this, joy arises in him, and from this joy, delight. And by this delight, his senses are calm. He feels happiness as a result, and with this happiness, his mind is established. B. He has not heard it thus, but in the course of teaching Dhamma to others, he has learnt it by heart as he has heard it. Or C. As he is chanting the Dhamma. Or D. When he applies his mind to the Dhamma, thinks and ponders over it, and concentrates his attention on it. Or E. When he has properly grasped some concentration sign, has well considered it, applied his mind to it, and has well penetrated it with wisdom. At this, joy arises in him, and with this joy, delight. And by this delight, his senses are calm, and he feels happiness as a result. And with this happiness, his mind is established. This one is the 5 occasions when a person attains liberation. One is when he listens to the Dhamma. Second is when he is teaching the Dhamma. Third, when he is repeating the Dhamma. And fourth, when he is reflecting on the Dhamma. And only the fifth, when he is meditating. So you see, out of the 5 occasions a person attains liberation, 4 of them have to do with knowing the Dhamma. Only one is during meditation. So we find in the Vinaya books, the first 1,060 Arahants attain Arahanthood just by listening to the Dhamma from the Buddha. 26. 5 perceptions making for maturity of liberation. The perception of impermanence, of suffering in impermanence, of impersonality or no self in suffering, of abandoning or letting go, of dispassion, viraga. These are the 5 sets of things which were perfectly proclaimed by the Lord. These 5 perceptions, we constantly reflect on them, then they help us become liberated. 2.2. There are sets of 6 things which were perfectly proclaimed by the Lord. 6 internal sense spheres. The ayatana, the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind sense spheres. Number 2, 6 external sense spheres, that means the sense objects. Sight object of forms, sound, smell, taste, touch and thoughts, mind object. 6 groups of consciousness. The eye consciousness, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind consciousness. 6 groups of contact. Contact at the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. 6 groups of feeling. Feeling that arises from eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, mind contact. 6 groups of perception. Perception of sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thoughts. 7. 6 groups of volition. Volition that arises from sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and mind objects or thoughts. 8. 6 groups of craving. Craving for the 6 sense objects, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thoughts. 9. 6 kinds of disrespect. Here a monk behaves disrespectfully and discourteously towards the teacher, the Dhamma, the Sangha, the training, in respect of earnestness and hospitality. 6 kinds of respect. Here a monk behaves respectfully as the previous 9, the 6 things. 11. 6 pleasurable investigations or thoughts. When on seeing a sight object with the eye, on hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, knowing thought, one investigates or thinks of a corresponding object productive of pleasure. 12. 6 unpleasurable investigations as productive of displeasure, same as the objects are same as in 11. 6 indifferent investigations productive of indifference or equanimity, upekkha, objects are same as in number 11. 14. 6 things conducive to communal living, that means to harmony. As long as monks, both in public and in private, show loving kindness to their fellows in acts of body, speech, and mind. There's 3 already. Number 4, share with their virtuous fellows whatever they receive as a rightful gift, including the contents of their alms bowls, which they do not keep to themselves. Number 5, keep consistently unbroken and unaltered those rules of conduct, those precepts that are spotless, leading to liberation, praised by the wise, unstained and conducive to concentration, and persist therein with their fellows both in public and in private. And then number 6, continue in that noble view that leads to liberation, to the utter destruction of suffering, remaining in such awareness with their fellows both in public and in private. These are the 6 things that when people live together, they should practice for harmony. One is to show metta, loving kindness, by body language. Number 2, by verbal language. And number 3, to show loving kindness, to have loving kindness in the mind towards others. And then number 4, to share what we have. Number 5, to keep the precepts pure. Number 6, to have that right view. Number 15, 6 roots of contention or quarrel. A. Here a monk is angry and bears ill will, is disrespectful and discourteous to the teacher, the Dhamma and the Sangha, and does not finish his training. He stirs up contention within the Sangha, which brings woe and sorrow to many, with evil consequences, misfortune and sorrow for devas and humans. If friends, you should discover such a root of contention among yourselves or among others, you should strive to get rid of just that root of contention. If you find no such root of contention, then you should work to prevent its overcoming you in future. Or B, a monk is deceitful and malicious. Or C, a monk is envious and mean. D, a monk is cunning and deceitful. E, a monk is full of evil desires and wrong views. F, a monk is opinionated. obstinate and tenacious. If friends, you should discover such a root of contention among yourselves or among others, you should strive to get rid of just that root of contention. If you find no such root of contention, then you should work to prevent its overcoming you in future. 16. The 6 elements: earth, water, fire, wind, space, and consciousness. 17. 6 elements making for deliverance. Here among might say, A. I have developed the liberation by mind, Ceto Vimutti, of loving kindness, expanded it, made it a vehicle and a base, established, worked well on it, set it well in train, and yet ill will still grips my heart. He should be told, no, do not say that, do not misrepresent the Blessed One. It is not right to slander him thus, for he would not have said such a thing. Your words are unfounded and impossible. If you develop the liberation by mind of loving kindness, ill will has no chance to envelop your heart. This liberation by mind is the cure for ill will. This liberation of loving kindness is the cure for ill will. Or B, he might say, I have developed the liberation by mind of compassion, and yet cruelty still grips my heart. And similarly, you must tell him it's not possible. Or C, he might say, I have developed the liberation by mind of joy, and yet aversion still grips my heart. Again, you must tell him it's not possible. Or D, he might say, I have developed the liberation by mind of equanimity, and yet lust grips my heart. Again, must tell him it's not possible. Or E, he might say, have developed the signless liberation by mind, and yet my heart still hankers after signs. Again, must tell him it's not possible. Or F, he might say, the idea I am is repellent to me. I pay no heed to the idea I am this. Yet doubts, uncertainties, and problems still grip my heart. Again, must tell him it's not possible. 18. 6 unsurpassed things: sights, things, heard, gains, trainings, forms of service, objects of recollection. So I'm not sure why they call it unsurpassed things. Maybe it's like here in brackets, certain sights, certain things heard, etc. 19. 6 subjects of recollection: the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, morality or sila, renunciation, and the devas. 20. 6 stable states: on seeing an object with the eye, hearing a sound, smelling a smell, tasting a flavor, touching a tangible, cognizing a thought with the mind. One is neither pleased nor displeased, but remains equable, mindful and clearly aware. So when 6 sense objects touch that person, his mind is in equanimity. So it's a stable state. 21. 6 species. Here A, one born in dark conditions lives a dark life. B, one born in dark conditions lives a bright life. C, one born in dark conditions attains Nibbana, which is neither dark nor bright. D, one born in bright conditions lives a dark life. E, one born in bright conditions leads a bright life. F, one born in bright conditions attains Nibbana, which is neither dark nor bright. And this you went through before. Bright meaning in good circumstances, and dark means in poor circumstances. Lives a dark life means he creates bad karma. Lives a bright life means he creates good karma. 22. 6 perceptions conducive to penetration: the perception of impermanence, of suffering in impermanence, of non-self in suffering, of abandoning or letting go, of dispassion, and the perception of cessation. These are the sets of 6 things which were perfectly proclaimed by the Lord. 2.3. There are sets of 7 things which have been perfectly proclaimed by the Lord. 1. 7 Aryan treasures. Faith, morality, sense of shame, a fear of wrongdoing, learning or hearing the Dhamma, and then renunciation and wisdom. Number 2, 7 factors of enlightenment, the Bojjhangas. Mindfulness, investigation of Dhamma, energy, delight, tranquility, concentration and equanimity. 3, 7 requisites of concentration: right view, right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort and right mindfulness. If you practice these 7 factors of the Noble Eightfold Path, then it will lead you to the 8th factor of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is right concentration. 4, 7 wrong practices. Here a monk lacks faith, lacks sense of shame, lacks fear of wrongdoing, has little learning, is slack, is unmindful, and lacks wisdom. Number 5, 7 Saddhamma, you can see 7 good states. Here a monk has faith, sense of shame and fear of wrongdoing, has much learning, has aroused vigor or energetic effort, has established mindfulness and possesses wisdom. Number 6, 7 qualities of a true man, that means an Arya. Here a monk is a knower of the Dhamma, of meanings, of self, of moderation, of the right time, of groups, of persons. 7 kinds, 7 grounds for commendation, for praising him. Here a monk is keenly anxious, A, to undertake the training and wants to persist in this. B, to make a close study of the Dhamma. C, to get rid of desires. D, to find solitude or seclusion. E, to arouse energy. F, to develop mindfulness and discrimination. G, to develop penetrative insight. 8, 7 perceptions. Perception of impermanence, of no self or non-self, of foulness or unattractiveness, of danger, of abandonment, of dispassion, of cessation. 9, 7 powers of faith, energy, moral shame, moral dread, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. 10, 7 stations of consciousness, beings A, different in body and different in perception. B, different in body and alike in perception. C, alike in body and different in perception. D, alike in body and alike in perception. E, who have attained to the sphere of infinite space. F, of infinite consciousness. G, of no-thingness. 11, 7 persons worthy of offerings. The both ways liberated, the wisdom liberated, the body witness, the vision attainer, the faith liberated, the Dhamma devotee, the faith devotee. Sorry for a moment, these are the 7 types of Aryans mentioned in the Majjhima Nikaya number 70, Kitagiri Sutta. And the first, the both ways liberated, is also called liberated by mind. And the second one, wisdom liberated or liberated by wisdom. These 2 are Arahants. And then the body witness, Kaya Sakhin. And then the faith attainer, Ditthipata. The faith liberated, Saddha Vimutta. Can be either the second fruit, third fruit or 4th path attainer, according to the Anguttara Nikaya 3.21. But the commentary says different. The last 2, Dhamma devotee and faith devotee, refers to the first path attainer, Dhammanusarin and Saddhanusarin. Number 12, 7 latent proclivities or tendencies, sensuous greed or sensual desire, resentment, views, doubt, conceit, craving for becoming and ignorance. 13, 7 fetters, complacence, resentment, and then the balance as in number 12. 14. 7 rules for the pacification and settlement of disputed questions that have been raised. This one concerning monks only. Disputes in the Sangha are to be settled by these 7 ways. Proceedings face to face. That means in the presence of that person. B. Recollection. C. Mental derangement. D. Confession. E. Majority verdict. F. Habitual bad character. G. Covering over with grass. Just talk a bit on this. The first one, A. If you accuse a monk of some offense, for example, then you have to settle this face to face with him. In his presence, you cannot discuss his fault if he's not around. You have to call him in front of the Sangha and then question him face to face. B is about the Arahant. If somebody accuses an Arahant of a fault, then you can see that the Arahant has recollection or sati or mindfulness 24 hours a day. So Arahant is incapable of any fault. C. Mental derangement. Suppose a monk he is mentally deranged. Then if he does something wrong, then the Sangha can say he cannot be faulted because he is deranged. D. Confession. That means if somebody does break a minor precept, he has to confess it to another monk. E. Majority verdict. If the Sangha cannot agree on something, then after much proceedings, they still cannot agree, then they have to take the majority verdict, that means take a vote. And then F. Habitual bad character. If a monk is known to habitually break the precept or something, then you can cite this, that his character is like this. Then can give him 3 warnings, and if he still does not change, then we can. There's a precept in the Sangha Disesa where you can use against this monk. And G. Covering over with grass. This is sometimes a dispute between 2 Sanghas, 2 groups of monks. Is a big thing because when 2 Sangha is split into 2, this is a schism of the Sangha. It's a very serious thing. The monk who causes the schism of the Sangha, for the Sangha to split into 2 groups, can go to hell. So after much quarreling and all that, and they still cannot settle it, then they have to decide to cover over with grass. Forget about it. Don't quarrel anymore. These are sets of 7 things which were perfectly proclaimed by the Lord. So we should all recite them together for the benefit, welfare and happiness of devas and humans. Let's stop here for a while. Anything you all want to discuss so far? Okay, if not, we continue. 3.1. There are sets of 8 things perfectly proclaimed by the Lord. 1. 8 wrong factors, wrong view, etc. These are the reverse of the Noble Eightfold Path. And then number 2, the 8 right factors is the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view, right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Number 3, 8 persons worthy of offerings. The stream winner and one who has practiced to gain the fruit of stream entry. So the stream winner is the first path attainer, and the fruit of stream entry is the sotapanna. And similarly, for the second path attainer and the second fruit attainer, second fruit attainer is the sakadagamin, once returner. And then the third path attainer and third fruit attainer. The third fruit attainer is called the non-returner or anagamin. And the fourth path attainer and the fourth fruit attainer, the fruit attainer is the Arahant. So these are the 8 Aryans, 8 types of Aryans. Number 4, 8 occasions of indolence. Here a monk A has a job to do. He thinks, I've got this job to do, but it will make me tired. I'll have a rest. So he lies down and does not stir up enough energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, to realize the unrealized. Or B, he has done some work and thinks, I've done this work, now I'm tired, I'll have a rest. So he lies down. Or C, he has to go on a journey and thinks, I have to go on this journey, it will make me tired, so he lies down. Or D, he has been on a journey and then he lies down. Or E, he goes on the alms round in a village or town and does not get his fill of food, whether coarse or fine, and he thinks, I've gone for alms food, my body is tired and useless, and he lies down. Or F, he goes on alms round and gets his fill and thinks, I've gone for alms and my body is heavy and useless, as if I were pregnant, and then he lies down. Or G, he has developed some slight indisposition and thinks, I'd better have a rest, and lies down. Or H, he is recuperating, having not long recovered from an illness, and he thinks, my body is weak and useless, I'll have a rest. So he lies down, does not stir up enough energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, to realize the unrealized. Number 5, 8 occasions for making an effort. Here a monk A has a job to do. He thinks, I've got this job to do, but in doing it, I won't find it easy to pay attention to the teaching of the Buddhas. So I will stir up sufficient energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, to realize the unrealized. Or B, he has done some work and thinks, well, I did the job, but because of it, I wasn't able to pay sufficient attention to the teaching of the Buddhas. So I will stir up sufficient energy. Or C, he has to go on a journey, and then he wants to stir up some energy. Or he has been on a journey. He thinks, I've been on this journey, but because of it, I wasn't able to pay sufficient attention. So he decides to pay more attention. Or E, he goes for alms without getting his fill and thinks, so my body is light and fit, I'll stir up energy. Or F, he goes for alms and gets his fill and thinks, so my body is strong and fit, I'll stir up energy. Or G, he has some slight indisposition and he thinks, this indisposition or illness might get worse, so I'll stir up energy. Or H, he is recuperating and he thinks, it might be that the illness will recur, so I'll stir up energy. Thus he stirs up sufficient energy to complete the uncompleted, to accomplish the unaccomplished, to realize the unrealized. That means to attain liberation. 6, 8 bases for giving. One gives A as occasion offers, B from fear, C thinking he gave me something, D thinking he will give me something, E thinking it is good to give, F thinking I am cooking something they are not. It would not be right not to give something to those who are not cooking. G thinking if I make this gift, I shall acquire a good reputation. H in order to adorn and prepare one's heart. 7, 8 kinds of rebirth due to generosity. Here someone gives an ascetic or Brahmin food, drink, clothes, transport, garlands, perfumes and ointments, sleeping accommodation, a dwelling or lights, and he hopes to receive a return for his gifts. He sees a rich Khattiya or Brahmin or householder living in full enjoyment of the pleasures of the 5 senses, and he thinks, if only when I die I may be reborn as one of these rich people. He sets his heart on this thought, fixes it and develops it, and this thought being launched at such a low level and not developed to a higher level leads to rebirth right there. But I say this of a moral person, not of an immoral one. The mental aspiration of a moral person is effective through its purity. Or B, he gives such gifts And having heard that the Devas in the realm of the 4 great kings live long, are good looking, and lead a happy life, he thinks, if only I could be reborn there. Or he similarly aspires to rebirth in the heavens of C, the 33 gods, D, the Yama Devas, E, Tusita Devas, F, Nimanarati Devas, G, Paranimitta Vasavati Devas. And this thought leads to rebirth right there. The mental aspiration of a moral person is effective through its purity. Or H, he similarly aspires to rebirth in the world of Brahma. But I say this of a moral person, not an immoral one freed from passion, not one still swayed by passion. The mental aspiration for such a moral person is effective through liberation from passion. Stop here for a moment. So here somebody makes an aspiration for a good rebirth, and the Buddha is saying that it's only effective, it can only work if he has the blessings for it. So like for this person who wants to be reborn as Brahma, that he got to be freed from the passion. Freed from the passion means he must have attained the first jhana. He hasn't attained the first jhana, how to be reborn in the first jhana, heaven, as Brahma. So you got to have the qualification. You don't have the qualification, then you cannot, your aspiration cannot work. So actually, if you have the qualification, you don't have to aspire, you don't have to make a wish. There are some monks, they tell people, when you give a gift, you must make a wish for this, make a wish for that. But in the suttas, the Buddha says, when you dana, when you make a gift and you make an aspiration, then you are selfish. You have a motive, you want to gain something. That being so, your blessings, your merit decreases. So you don't have to make an aspiration. What you are qualified for, you will get. Number 8 assemblies. The assembly of Khattiyas, Brahmins, householders, ascetics, Devas of the realm of the 4 great kings, of the 33 gods, of Maras, of Brahmas. Number 9, 8 worldly conditions: gain and loss, fame and shame, blame and praise, happiness and misery. This in the Mahayana books, Chinese books, they call the 8 winds that move us. Number 10, 8 stages of mastery. Perceiving forms internally, one sees external forms, limited and beautiful or ugly. B, as A but unlimited. C, not perceiving forms internally, one sees external forms limited. Or D, one sees external forms unlimited. And not perceiving forms internally, one perceives forms that are E, blue, F, yellow, G, red, H, white. Up here for a moment. These 4 colors are the kasina colors. If people want to meditate on color, they choose one of these 4 colors. Blue, yellow, red, and white. 11, 8 liberations. A, possessing form, one sees forms. B, not perceiving material forms in oneself, one sees them outside. C, thinking it is beautiful, one becomes intent on it. One enters D, the sphere of infinite space. E, sphere of infinite consciousness. F, sphere of nothingness. G, sphere of neither perception nor non-perception. H, cessation of perception and feeling. These are the sets of 8 things. 3.2, there are sets of 9 things. 1, 9 causes of malice or anger. Malice is stirred up by the thought, A, he has done me an injury. B, he is doing me an injury. C, he will do me an injury. D to F, he has done, is doing, or will do an injury to someone who is dear and pleasant to me. G to I, he has done, is doing, or will do a favor to someone who is hateful and unpleasant to me. Up here for a moment. So, malice is stirred up. You get angry with somebody because he has done you something wrong, or he's doing something wrong to you, or he's going to do something wrong to you, or he has done, is doing, or will do to someone you love, like your family member. And then G to I, he has done, is doing, or will do a favor to somebody you hate, your enemy. Number 2, 9 ways of overcoming malice. Malice is overcome by the thought, he has done me an injury, as before. But what good would it do to harbor malice? What's the point of getting angry? What's the point of hating him? Then you let go. 3, 9 abodes of beings. A, beings different in body and different in perception. B, beings different in body and alike in perception. C, beings alike in body and different in perception. D, beings alike in body and alike in perception. E, the realm of unconscious beings. F, realm of neither perception nor non-perception. G, beings who have attained to the sphere of infinite space. H, beings who have attained to the sphere of infinite consciousness. I, beings who have attained to the sphere of nothingness. 4, 9 unfortunate inopportune times for leading the holy life. Wrong times to become a monk. A Tathagata has been born in the world, Arahant Sammasambuddha, and the Dhamma is taught which leads to calm and perfect Nibbana, which leads to enlightenment as taught by the welfarer. But this person is born in a hell, or B, among animals, or C, among ghosts, or D, among asuras, or E, in a long-lived group of devas, or F, he is born in the border regions among foolish barbarians where there is no access for monks and nuns or male and female lay followers, or G, he is born in the middle country but he has wrong views and distorted vision, thinking there is no giving, offering or sacrificing, there is no fruit or result of good and bad deeds, there is not this world and the next. There are no parents and there are no spontaneous rebirth. There are no ascetics and Brahmins in the world who, having attained to the highest and realized for themselves the highest knowledge about this world and the next, proclaim it. Or H, he is born in the middle country but lacks wisdom and is stupid, or is deaf and dumb and cannot tell whether something has been well said or ill said. Or else, no Tathagata has arisen, and this person is born in the middle country and is intelligent, not stupid, not deaf, not dumb, and well able to tell whether something has been well said or ill said. Stop here for a moment. So these are the wrong occasions to become a monk, or not possible to become a monk. The Buddha is in the world, but this person is born in hell, or as an animal, or as a ghost, or as an asura, maybe because asuras are always fighting, or in a long life group of devas. That means the life is so long that they don't see impermanence. They think they will live forever and ever. Or F, or born in a place where there's the Dhamma cannot be heard, or the people there are barbarians. Or G, is born in the Ganges Valley, where the Buddha is, but he does not believe in the Buddha's teachings. He has wrong view. And then H, he's born in the middle country where the Buddha is, but he's either has Down syndrome, or he's dumb and deaf, etc. Or he is born in the India where the Buddha should be, but at the wrong time. The Buddha has already entered Nibbana and there is no Dhamma. 5, 9 successive abidings. Jhanas and the spheres of infinite space, infinite consciousness, nothingness, neither perception nor non-perception, and cessation of perception and feeling. That means the 4 Rupa Jhanas, the 4 Arupa Jhanas plus cessation. 6, 9 successive cessations. By the attainment of the first jhana, perceptions of sensuality cease. By the attainment of the second jhana, thought directed and sustained cease. By the attainment of the third jhana, piti or delight ceases. By the attainment of the fourth jhana, breathing ceases. By the attainment of the sphere of infinite space, perception of materiality ceases. By the attainment of the sphere of infinite consciousness, perception of the sphere of infinite space ceases. By the attainment of the sphere of nothingness, perception of the sphere of infinite consciousness ceases. By the attainment of the sphere of neither perception nor non-perception, the perception of the sphere of nothingness ceases. By the attainment of the cessation of perception and feeling, perception and feeling cease. These are the sets of 9 things. 3.3. There are sets of 10 things perfectly proclaimed by the Lord. 1. 10 things that give protection. Here among A is moral. Among is moral. He lives restrained according to the restraint of the discipline, persisting in right behavior, seeing danger in the slightest fault. He keeps to the rules of training. B. He has learned much and bears in mind and retains what he has learned. In these teachings, beautiful in the beginning, the middle and end, which in spirit and letter proclaim the absolutely perfected and purified holy life, he is deeply learned. He remembers them, recites them, reflects on them, and penetrates them with vision. C. He is a friend, associate, and intimate of good people. D. He is affable, endowed with gentleness and patience, quick to grasp instruction. E. Whatever various jobs there are to be done for his fellow monks, he is skillful, not lax, using foresight to carry them out, and is good at doing and planning. F. He loves the Dhamma and delights in hearing it. He is especially fond of the advanced Dhammavinaya. G. He is content with any kind of requisite, robes, arms, food, lodging, medicines. H. He ever strives to arouse energy to get rid of unwholesome states, to establish wholesome states, untiringly and energetically striving to keep such good states and never shaking off the burden. I. He is mindful with a great capacity for clearly recalling things done and said long ago. It's a definition of sati. Sati is a person who remembers what was said and done a long time ago. J. He is wise, with wise perception of arising and passing away, that Aryan perception that leads to the complete destruction of suffering. This last one, to attain destruction of suffering, you have to be able to see the rising and passing away of everything in the world, in other words, impermanence. 2. 10 objects for the attainment of absorption. It perceives the earth kasina, water kasina, fire kasina, wind kasina, blue kasina, yellow kasina, red kasina, white kasina, space kasina, consciousness or light kasina, above, below, on all sides, undivided, unbounded. These are the 10 kasina objects. Number 3, 10 unwholesome causes of action or unskillful karma, taking life or killing, taking what is not given or theft, sexual misconduct or adultery, lying speech or lying, slander or carrying tales to cause disharmony, coarse speech, idle gossip, greed, malevolence or ill will, and wrong view. The first 3 is unskillful body karma. The next 4 is unskillful verbal karma. The last 3 is unskillful mental karma. Number 4, 10 unwholesome causes of action, avoidance of taking life, etc., as the previous one. 5, 10 Aryan dispositions. Here among A has got rid of 5 factors. B possesses 6 factors. C has established 1 guard. D observes the 4 supports. E has got rid of individual beliefs. F has quite abandoned quest. G is pure of motive. H has tranquilized his emotions, is well liberated. I in heart, and J by wisdom. How has he got rid of 5 factors? Here he has got rid of sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry and doubt, the 5 hindrances. B. What 6 factors does he possess? On seeing an object with the eye, hearing a sound, smelling a taste, tasting a flavor, touching a tangible, or cognizing a mental object, he is neither pleased nor displeased, but remains equable, mindful and clearly aware. That means he practices equanimity. C. How has he established the one God? By guarding his mind with mindfulness. Always looking into his mind. D. What are the 4 supports? He judges that one thing is to be pursued, one thing endured, one thing avoided, one thing suppressed. This is as in Sutta 1.11.8. E. How has he got rid of individual beliefs? Whatever individual beliefs are held by the majority of ascetics and Brahmins, he has dismissed, abandoned, rejected, let go of them. F. How is he one who has quite abandoned quests? He has abandoned the quest for sense desires, for rebirth, for the holy life. Quest for holy life. Maybe it means it does not make too much effort. G. How is he pure of motive? He has abandoned thoughts of sensuality, ill will and cruelty. These are the 3 wrong thoughts. H. How is he one who has tranquilized his emotions? Because having given up pleasure and pain with the disappearance of former gladness and sadness, he enters into a state beyond pleasure and pain, which is purified by equanimity. And this is the 4th jhana. This one. So when a person attains the 4th jhana, he tranquilizes his emotions. I. How is he well emancipated in mind? He is liberated from the thought of greed, hatred and delusion. J. How is he well liberated by wisdom? He understands, for me greed, hatred and delusion are abandoned, cut off at the root, made like a palm stump, destroyed and incapable of growing again. So these last 2 are arahants. 6. 10 qualities of the non-learner. This is the arahant, aseka. There's no more things to learn. The non-learner's right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, right knowledge, and right liberation. These are the sets of 10 things which have been perfectly set forth by the Lord who knows and sees, the full enlightened Buddha. So we should all recite them together without disagreement, so that this holy life may be long-lasting and established for a long time to come. Thus to be for the welfare and happiness of the multitude, out of compassion for the world, for the benefit, welfare and happiness of devas and humans. And when the Lord had stood up, he said to the Venerable Sariputta, Good, Sariputta, well indeed have you proclaimed the way of chanting together for the monks. These things were said by the Venerable Sariputta, and the teacher confirmed them. The monks were delighted and rejoiced at the Venerable Sariputta's words. That's the end of the sutta. This word Sangiti means chanting together. So after the Buddha passed away, when the Sangha held the first Sangha council, the Sangha council is called the Sangiti, chanting together. When they come together, either they chant the Dhamma together or the Vinaya together, and they agree that this is the words of the Buddha. Tomorrow night we will speak on the last sutta of the Digha Nikaya before we go to Kudaka. Anything to discuss? Should be. No, this sutta was spoken by Venerable Sariputta. So he is telling them that we should chant together. You see, during the Buddha's time, the monks had no books. So whatever the Buddha taught, all the suttas, they had to learn it from the teacher. The teacher will teach them, the teacher will chant, and then they chant together. Yeah.
What
Or for a normal person, that is a normal thing to do. But the Buddha is talking about his disciples who are practicing to attain liberation and they don't want to rest. In other words, you need that kind of super effort to become liberated. As the Buddha says, Mara, there's no power stronger than Mara, or defilements.
The Buddha mentioned why the kasinas are blue, red, yellow, and white.
No, the Buddha did not mention. And these kasinas were not created by the Buddha. They were objects of meditation practiced by the yogis in India for a long time, maybe thousands of years. So it's been handed down. So it works. That's why the Buddhas and disciples follow it.
What are the Vedas? Page 507.
What page again?
507.
507. Peta is a Pali word for ghost. This after the Petas you have the Asuras, and actually Asuras, according to the Digha Nikaya, are heavenly beings lah. But later books like the Mahayana Sutras and the Abhidhamma and the commentaries, they list the Asuras under the woeful destinations of rebirth lah. In the original suttas, there are only 5 destinations of rebirth. 2 are happy destinations, heavens and the human realm. And 3 are woeful destinations, the ghosts, the animals, and the hell beings. But the later books, they added the Asuras under the woeful planes. So instead of 5 destinations of rebirth, later books talk about 6 destinations of rebirth. So the fact that the under D, you have the Asuras mentioned here, it could be a later addition.
Concerning the attachment to wine and ritual, when they talk about duty to the teacher is also one. Can Bhante elaborate on this?
No, I didn't say duty to the teacher is attachment to rites and rituals. I was trying to say this word, the Pali word is Sila Bhatta Paramasa. This is Sila Bhatta Paramasa. So this attachment to Sila and Vata. So Sila is the rules, all kinds of rules, including the precepts. And Vata means all the religious observances. So I was trying to say that all religious observances, because I say all religious observances, and then I quoted the Acharya Vata, that the Vata is also used in that sense, even duty to the teacher. But I did not say that duty to the teacher is an attachment. I didn't say.
Going back to the point on Asura, the Asura actually Deva, and it means that the one, according to this, the point that we discussed, the Asura can't be enlightened or they can't progress in the Dhamma.
It's not stated anywhere that the Asuras cannot progress in the Dhamma, but generally heavenly beings because they are enjoying life in the heavens, the most they will do is to listen to the Dhamma. And I think Asuras have enough blessings to be able to listen to the Dhamma and maybe attain Sotapanna.
In order to adorn and prepare one's heart, there is a eight basis for giving.
There's a note say, in order to adorn and prepare one's heart.
Does it mean to prepare ourselves for Dharma, as part of the Dharma, Sila, Bhavana, training?
Could be to, if you have a good heart, then you can practice the spiritual path better.
Can we review from here that the Sangiti Sutta is actually a grand summary of what we have taught? It's almost all the things we taught in 11 series.
You can say that, but they don't explain enough. And also some of the things seem to be later addition. Certain things like we don't see in the other suttas, they seem to have put it here.
All support. Here among that is one thing is to be pursued, one thing is to do, one thing.
What page?
Page 489.
Oh. Here, one thing is to be pursued. I think that day I mentioned like wholesome states. One thing to be endured could be pain or suffering. One thing to be avoided could be unwholesome states, anger and all that. One thing to be suppressed, thoughts of lust, hatred and delusion, or thoughts of sensual desire, malice or enmity, ill will and cruelty, wrong thoughts.
So, page 500, emancipation of the heart. So it says that we can make our believer to loving kindness and the four Brahma Viharas and the believer to reach the emancipation of heart. Can you explain a bit about the emancipation of heart and how far it can bring us in our practice?
Under 17, is it?
Yes, 17.
Emancipation of the heart, Ceto Vimutti, I think it's a wrong translation. If you notice, I read it differently. I called it liberation by the mind. Ceto is the mind of loving kindness, metta. Liberation by the mind of loving kindness. In other words, radiation by the mind of loving kindness. And this one, you got to have the jhana, and you have a strong mind, and use the mind to radiate or liberate loving kindness.
So does it mean, can I translate that we practice this loving kindness through the jhanas, right, then will not be really arising in our mind even after we come out from meditation.
Oh yes, yes. Because when a person comes out of jhana, the effect of the jhana will stay for some time. That's why, like the Buddha says, a person to attain liberation should attain the fourth jhana. So, like the Buddha himself, on the night of enlightenment, he attained the fourth jhana, and then coming out of the fourth jhana, he used that calm, imperturbable state, and the Buddha described that state where the mind is pliant, malleable, wieldy, workable. Then you can use it for anything you want. And the Buddha says, in that state, in that condition of mind, whatever you want to see and know, you are able to see and know. Jnana, dasana, knowing and seeing. So when the Buddha directs it to the Four Noble Truths, then he understands the Four Noble Truths and attains liberation. So you notice also in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, the way the Buddha entered Nibbana, Parinibbana, he attained all the jhanas and then came out of it. Then he attained 1, 2, 3, 4 up to the fourth jhana. Coming out of the fourth jhana, where the mind is, the Buddha says that the fourth jhana is an imperturbable state, unshakable. It is so strong and unshakable. Coming out of the fourth jhana, the Buddha entered Nibbana. So if you have not entered any jhana, the mind is full of the five hindrances. How is it possible to enter Nibbana? Impossible. That's why in the suttas, the Buddha says it's impossible to become an anagami or an arahant without the four jhanas. So which shows that the pure vipassana method is just something cooked up, not the Buddha's words.
Is that how
all of them should have entered Nibbana in that way. You see, if a person constantly dwells in the fourth jhana, then the mind inclines to that fourth jhana because it's such a pleasant state. So when a monk is dying, the mind will naturally incline to that state, peaceful state. That's why, for example, if a person has cultivated the first jhana and constantly abides in the first jhana, when he dies, he's reborn in the first jhana heaven, Mahabrahma.
Something on the four Brahma Vihara. The Buddha always encourages the man to dwell in the four Brahma Vihara. Because the four Brahma Vihara, while they are very wholesome state of mind, but they are not the same. So, in order to have a complete wholesomeness, to arahants or monks, dwell in all four Brahma Viharas, or do they specialize in one? For example, just in metta, like presently teachers that teach practice metta meditation, and usually it's on karuna or mudita.
Actually, the four Brahma Viharas are something that the Brahmins like very much because they want to be reborn in the Brahma realm and then they want to practice that. And it is not essential for liberation, that's why it is not part of the Noble Eightfold Path. But it is something useful for the monks to cultivate, because if they have loving kindness, compassion, joy and equanimity, then it influences the environment. So your monk, for example, practices loving kindness. He goes into the deep forest and there are fierce beings in the deep forest. Sometimes you have fierce ghosts or you have fierce devas. that might harm him, but because of the practice of loving kindness, radiation of loving kindness by the mind, then these beings will not harm him. No? But I think it's up to him whether he wants to practice one or he wants to practice four. But it is something I feel it's more, the Buddha mentioned it because it is something that the Indian tradition, the Brahmins, they like to practice. But it's not essential for liberation.
Page 510. There is white knowledge. What is the white knowledge stated here?
Right knowledge. Right knowledge, samma jnanam, right liberation. Actually, after the Noble Eightfold Path, it should be liberation, and then after liberation is knowledge of liberation. So here should be knowledge of liberation. Okay, shall we end here?